Hello everyone, how you doing? And welcome to Rabona TV's Weekend Recap, the #1 weekend recap hosted by a Canadian guy, according to my dad. What's up, Dad? We've got a lot to talk about this weekend, some great matches, and I feel like I've been mega Premier League centric lately, so we're going to spread the love a little bit in this episode. Oh yeah, and as per usual, a big thank you to our sponsors, OneFootball, for helping produce the weekend recap. If you're looking for the best football app out there that breaks news faster than anyone else, allows you to customize your news feed to your fave teams and competitions, watch highlights, and so much more, then support me by supporting them with a free download in the description for either iOS or Android. Prem's up first, and the heavyweight clash was of course between City and Arsenal, and there were absolutely no surprises in this one. City took forever to score, a full 46 seconds, which I'm sure Pep was pissed about, as that's a clear regression in comparison to their 24-second goal from the other day against Newcastle. Shame on them. Now, Arsenal fans may have felt just a glimmer of hope when Koscielny headed home, but that hope was a false sunrise for them, as City flexed hard on their second goal. The ball over the top from Gundogan was poetry, and Sterling's squared ball to the lethal bowl cut that is Sergio Aguero was beautiful as well. Aguero added a third later on for his 10th Premier League hat-trick. He now has just one less than the record holder, Shearer! And again, not much to say here really. When I asked you guys for your input on Twitter as to how things would go, you all called it expertly. No, but seriously, despite the score being just 3-1, this was a slaughter. 4 shots total for Arsenal in comparison to City's 12 on target. I'm sorry, there's just not much to say about this. Arsenal's lineup, to me, screamed, "We're hoping for a draw," as once again, there was no creative spark in the midfield, and Ozil went unused on the bench. The other Manchester team went to the King Power Stadium to take on Leicester, and despite playing pretty poorly, they came out on top 1-0. I think there were more wayward passes in this match from both teams than I've seen in a Premier League match in a long time, or at least as far as I can remember. Both teams seemingly just wanted to pass to each other rather than to their teammates, but thankfully we got to see a few good ones, most notably Paul Labille Pogba's ball for Rashford's goal. Those two on fire under Solskjaer. The second half was pretty much one-way traffic, with De Gea being forced into a couple of big saves, Vardy blowing chances, etc. Solskjaer wasn't happy with the performance, and rightfully so, but the fact that they were able to win while not playing well is always a promising sign, unless that whole not playing well thing becomes the norm, of course. Tottenham got their third EPL victory in a row, this time against Newcastle, and it was another late squeaker from them, with their hero Heung-min Son grabbing the winner in the 83rd minute on a mega frustrating day for Spurs, where they came close on a few occasions. And Spurs fans, got a question for you. Has Son been your best player so far this season? He's now officially been involved in one more goal than Harry Kane, for what it's worth, with 2 less appearances, so let me know. Everton were humbled at home 3-1, and as my guy Adonai said on Twitter, "A black cat appears at Goodison. It can't get any worse for Everton." That's of course in regards to the pitch invader that held up play for a good few minutes, but anyways, in the footballing sphere, Marco Silva is really struggling with this team. Dendoncker was dominant for Wolves in the midfield. Moutinho was smooth also in the midfield. Jimenez economical again for Wolves, scoring once from 2 chances. Wolves really looking like they could be that team that gets Europa next season. This was like a Europa League battle, this matchup. And finally, Chelsea beat up on Huddersfield 5-0. They looked a lot better. Jorginho looked good as the pivot. Kante played a few decent passes forward, though he looked miserable at the end of the game when he came off, so I'm not sure what to read from that. Hazard did Hazard things, but most importantly, Higuain looked sharp. Not only his finishing, which was great, with the first seeing him pick out the near top corner and his second seeing him launch into the far corner from outside the box. So finishing was good, but most importantly, his movement off the ball was excellent. But again, let's temper our expectations here. Let's not jump to any conclusions, positive or negative, as Huddersfield is basically a fairly strong championship side. 11 points from 25 matches. Oof. Okay, so remember, Liverpool doesn't play until today against West Ham, so as of now, Liverpool have a 2-point lead over City, while Spurs are also just 4 points behind, so it's tight up there. Similarly, it's tight in the race for 4th, and the race to the bottom around the relegation zone is interesting as well, with Fulham and Huddersfield the only 2 obvious contenders for relegation at this moment, but things can always change. So I'm going to blitz through Germany, as I have more to say about Italy and the bonus leagues. Spoiler alert, bonus leagues, plural. Both Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich had blips on their record this week, as Dortmund's lead was cut down to 7 points as they were held to a draw with Eintracht Frankfurt. Bayern, on the other hand, lost to Bayer Leverkusen 3-1, a Leverkusen team that is currently managed by Dortmund's former bust, Peter Bosz. Good for him for sticking around at Germany, by the way, after his failure at Dortmund, and he's done well to pull Leverkusen up to 7th place now, because they started the season pretty poorly. And speaking of places, here's the table in Germany, as Mönchengladbach's win draws them level with Bayern as they retake 2nd place, and Leipzig's victory over Hanover on Friday closes the gap between them and Bayern to 5 points. Hanover doing a Huddersfield impression, by the way, with just 11 points in 20th week. Okay, Spain now. Barcelona and Valencia played out to an extremely entertaining 2-2 draw, which saw Rodrigo and Gamero combine in the 24th to put Valencia ahead, but it got better from there, well, for Valencia fans and neutrals, obviously, as Sergi Roberto hauled down Daniel Vaz in the 31st minute, and Dani Parejo hit the perfect penalty, which the beIN Sport commentator said was the first penalty awarded to one of Barcelona's opponents all season, which is absolutely insane. He didn't specify whether it was La Liga, though, or all competitions. So it was 2-0 at that point, but of course, Messi took over for Barcelona, and after converting from the spot, his 50th La Liga penalty, by the way, 11 behind Ronaldo, he curled one around 2 Valencia defenders in the second half, leaving Neto stranded. 2-2 the final, and an opportunity for the chasing pack to close the gap on them. Well, Atletico failed hard in that regard, unintentional rhyme, sorry, as Morata made his debut against Real Betis. The entire squad was a complete limp noodle in this one, man. One shot on target, the wide players Lamar and Correa had shockers, Morata looked alright, Griezmann hit the bar, and Atletico in general had a grand total of 1 shot on target. Rough, so they're now 6 points behind Barca. Real, on the other hand, had a great match at home to Deportivo Alavés, winning 3-0 thanks to goals from Benzema and 2 late ones from Vinicius and Mariano. I forgot that he even signed for Real Madrid, as we haven't seen him prior to this match since like November, I think. But that was his 2nd La Liga goal from just 5 shots on target. Sevilla lost again, by the way, this time to lowly Celta Vigo, meaning that the table looks like this. Barca on 50, Atletico 6 points behind them, and Real 8 points back. Juve Parma was the unexpected hero of the weekend. What a match that was. After Ronaldo put Juve ahead in the first half, an insane sequence in the second saw Juve and Parma trade 2 goals each, back and forth, across 12 minutes. Yes, 4 goals in 12 minutes, taking the score up to 3-2 Juve. And then the 93rd minute of 94 minutes hit, and Juve had possession in their own half by the corner flag, with Mandzukic shielding the ball. Now, me just mentioning his name causes fans around the globe to grab their pitchforks and come at me, as it's no secret that I don't personally like his playing style all so much. I don't deny that he's a top player and has an incredible attitude and would be a boon to many teams and was great in this match as well, but I just don't like him all that much, and I think that's okay, isn't it? Just like it's okay for you to love him. It's fine, guys. Anyways, what he did next, you cannot tell me that he didn't drop 2 points for Juve. And I would go in on any player who did this. I'm not just saying it because it's Mario. Let's not be silly. So you're 1 minute from victory. You can just continue to shield the ball and waste time in the hopes that a Parma player will knock it out or foul you in trying to get the ball back. You can kick it out for a throw-in yourself if you have to. You could try to smash it off your opponent so that you get a throw-in or a goal kick. Or you can do as Mandzukic did and scoop it towards your own 18, putting your teammate in an impossible position to win it, and eventually Gervinho scores his second and ties it up at 3-3. Perhaps criticizing Perrin here is a little harsh, but I also thought that his wrists were a little flappy handski. But again, harsh to criticize him here, as the distance the shot was taken from was pretty close. Anyway, Juve clearly have a problem in their midfield and a bit of an injury crisis in the center back positions, and failing to address the midfield in January could really hurt their Champions League run. By the way, as far as attack goes, Ronaldo has now scored 17 and assisted 7 in 22 Serie A appearances, and he's killing it. And it's Ronaldo's season. The dude loves the second half of the season, so Juve's fortunes could continue to be good, all down to him. That was a very ineloquent sentence. Inter. You fooled me this summer. With the players you brought in for Spalletti's second season, I thought you'd for sure put in a solid challenge, but instead you've just looked challenged 2 losses in a row now, this time to Genoa, who are in 18th and hadn't won a match in the Serie A since September 30th. That made for 6 losses for Inter in the last 6 matches that they have trailed. No fighting spirit, and no bite in the attack either. I was looking forward to a close match between Sampdoria and Napoli, but all I got was a 3-0 win for Napoli, which I can't complain about. And Napoli fans certainly won't be complaining about Milik's form this season. His goal took him to 12 in 19 appearances this season. By the way, Napoli are now unbeaten in their last 17 matches at home in the Serie A and have closed the gap between themselves and Juve to 9 points. Hey, that's better. And finally, AC Milan and Roma played out a 1-1 draw with the star of the match, for all the wrong reasons, being referee Fabio Maresca. He carded Kessié when Bakayoko fouled a Roma player, albeit he barely touched him to begin with and wasn't deserving of a card in the first place in my opinion. But among other whack decisions, his pièce de résistance was turning a blind eye to Kolarov, literally pulling off the perfect dump tackle on Suso in the box, and then carding Paqueta for complaining about it. Oh, never change Serie A referees. Actually do. Do change. Change immediately, because this trash is like MLS levels of officiating. Mark Geiger shit. So here's how the table looks now, with Juve still boasting a 9-point lead over Napoli, and look at that gap between 2nd and 3rd. Even bigger than that between 1st and 2nd. Bonus leagues! There were too many cool matches to talk about from outside of the top 4 leagues, so we'll pick a couple. A few, we'll say. First, I'm sorry to my Sporting fans out there after they got smacked up in their own home 4-2 by Benfica. João Felix, Seferovic, for the most part at least. Pizzi and Ruben Dias were all excellent. Shout out to Grimaldo as well, as he was as good as ever down the left. But Benfica could have won this match by way more, to be honest with you. João Felix was a little unlucky with one of his goals called back, though in the end, 1, it didn't matter, and 2, it was probably the right call. In fact, Benfica actually put the ball in the back of the net 6 times versus Sporting, while Sporting also had one called back when all was lost for them. As the legend Tom Kundert said on Twitter, live from the stadium, gulf between the teams not reflected in the scoreline. Benfica far more than 2 goals better than Sporting, better in every department. Fantastic individual talent, Felix, Ruben Dias outstanding, playing as a team against a team of individuals who look like they've never met before. Couldn't have said it better myself, as Sporting have fallen way out of the title race, 8 points behind us, 11 behind Porto, who were held to a 0-0 draw with Vitória Guimarães on the day as well. Braga looking like a title contender. They're playing excellently. Another great win for them. The Asian Cup final, another great match. And if you had told me from the outset that Qatar would boss this competition, conceding just 1 goal and winning their first ever AFC Asian Cup, then I would have raised my eyebrows. But Xavi knew. What a run this team had, scoring 19 goals, 9 of which were scored by Almoez Ali, equaling legendary Iranian player Ali Daei's record for the most in a single Asian Cup tournament. And how? Man, as his 9th goal was insane. I'll probably get a copyright strike for this, but who cares? You have to see it. Give him the Puskás Award already. Competition closed. Japan did have a great second half, but a late penalty sealed it for Qatar 3-1. I wish that I had seen more of this tournament, but the matches were all on at ungodly hours for me, so it was pretty difficult to catch. All right, now, good luck in the Copa America, Qatar. Wow, why are you doing this, CONMEBOL? Why? Finally, from our bonus section, Lyon did it, guys. They actually did it. They ended PSG's unbeaten run in Ligue with a 2-1 victory thanks to goals from Moussa Dembélé, no, not that Moussa Dembélé, that Moussa Dembélé, and a pen from Nabil Fekir. Besides breaking PSG's hearts for their now deceased unbeaten run, this didn't do much in the title race. They still have a 10-point lead and 2 games in hand, so that could go up to 16-point lead still. Oof, yikes. Okay guys, that's it for me. I gotta go eat lunch now. How about you? What are you doing now that this video is over? Hopefully, you'll hit it with a like if you enjoyed it. If not, then that's what the dislike button is for, but you already knew that. Alright guys, thanks again for all the support, and hey, thank you so much for 50K. I appreciate it. Any requests for a 50K video if you want one at all? Let me know in the comments. I love ya, and take care.